Okay, friends, I hope you're having a great morning so far. We're going to jump right into our story this week. The title of our story is Baby Bears. It's an expository text, so remember that is a story that tells about real things. It is a nonfiction story. We're going to see lots of pictures, photographs. I want you to pay special attention to the text features, look for headings, look for diagrams, captions, all those things that make a nonfiction story super interesting and catchy to your eye and more enjoyable to read. We're going to jump right in, and then we're going to go over the 2 pages in your reading and writing companion that you need to complete for today. All right, so we're going to listen first, and then we'll go over our pages.
Genre: Expository Text. Baby Bears by Bobby Kalman.
Okay, and now our essential question.
Essential question: how are offspring like their parents? Read to find out how baby bears are like their moms and dads.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about how baby bears are like their parents, the big bears. All right. Okay, right away I see a text feature. I see a big bold heading right here. What is a bear? Well, the heading tells us what we're about to read about. So we should be able to answer that question after reading this page.
What is a bear? Bears are animals called mammals. Mammals have hair or fur on their bodies. Bears are covered with fur. Mammals are born. You were born too. You are a mammal. Baby bears are called cubs. Cubs are born with their eyes shut. Their eyes open when they are about 6 weeks old. This brown bear cub was just born. It has very little fur. Mammal mothers make milk inside their bodies. Mammal babies nurse from their mothers. To nurse is to drink mother's milk. The polar bear cub is nursing.
All right, so we have a caption there. Tells us about the picture. Another text feature.
Kinds of bears. There are 8 kinds of bears. The bears shown on this page are an American black bear, a brown bear, and a polar bear. These bears all live in North America. American black bears can be different colors. What color is this black bear? There are different kinds of brown bears. These grizzly bears are one kind of brown bear. Polar bears have white fur. They live in a cold place called the Arctic. People who study bears once thought that giant pandas were raccoons. Now people think that these animals are bears. There are not many giant pandas left in the world. Giant pandas live in China. Stop and check. Reread. What animal did people used to think giant pandas were? Reread to check your understanding.
Okay, so if we are wanting to answer that question, we're probably not going to pay much attention to this page because I don't see a panda bear there. So I'm going to go back over and I'm going to reread this paragraph and try to answer that question. My question is, what animal did people used to think giant pandas were? People who study bears once thought that giant pandas were raccoons. Ding, ding, ding. There's your answer. Now people think that these animals are bears. There are not many giant pandas left in the world. Giant pandas live in China. Okay, so that first sentence answers this question. So that's kind of funny that people once thought that those panda bears were raccoons. I could maybe see that with the black and the white. Yep. All right.
Bear bodies. Bears have 4 legs. They can walk on all 4 legs or on their 2 back legs. They have 5 toes with claws on each foot. Claws are curved nails. This grizzly bear cub has brown fur covering its body. Bears can smell, hear, and see very well. Bears use their claws to climb and dig.
Okay, so all of those captions tell us about where the arrow is pointing in that picture. Another text feature, there's our heading, bear bodies. Now this heading is bear coats.
Bear coats. Bears have two kinds of fur. Some of their fur is short and some is long. Their short fur keeps them warm. Their long fur keeps water away from their skin. Polar bears have thick white fur. Pandas have black and white fur.
Okay, so they're both bears, but you can see that they look very different. They live in different habitats, and their fur is different.
Bear families. A bear family is made up of a mother bear and her cubs. Most mother bears have litters of cubs. A litter is 2 or more babies that are born at the same time. This mother grizzly bear has 3 cubs.
So remember that the word cub describes a baby bear.
Cubs stay with their mothers until they are 2 to 3 years old. They watch their mothers to learn how to live on their own. Mother bears teach their cubs where to find food and how to stay safe. Caption: This mother bear is teaching her cubs how to climb a tree. Mothers also teach cubs how to groom their fur and stay clean.
Okay, so I feel like this is a really important paragraph, maybe for some things we're going to complete later on. So cubs stay with their mothers until they're 2 to 3 years old. We stay with our mothers until we're 18 years old. But by 2 or 3 years old, it says they can watch their mothers and learn how to live on their own. Mother bears teach their cubs where to find food and how to stay safe. So they learn those basic needs, and then they can be out on their own.
What do bears eat? Most bears are omnivores. Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and animals. Bears eat honey, berries, leaves, and eggs. They also eat insects, fish, and other animals. Polar bears are carnivores. Carnivores eat mainly other animals. Pandas are herbivores. Herbivores eat mainly plants. Pandas eat plants called bamboo.
Okay, so we might think that bears are big, these huge animals that only eat meat to get bigger, but that's not really true. So it said they eat a lot of berries and leaves and eggs, fish, insects. So um, they are omnivores, which means they eat both plants and animals. But right here, polar bears are carnivores. Carnivores eat mainly meat. So there's a little mix of everything there.
Bear habitats. Bears live in different places. The natural place where a bear lives is called its habitat. Many bears live in forests. Forests are habitats with many trees. Some bears live on mountains. Pandas live in forests that grow high on mountains. Bamboo grows in these forests. Black bears live in North American forests.
So since there's so many different kinds of animals, lots of them live in different habitats.
Stop and check. Make predictions. What do you think this bear will find to eat? Use the make predictions strategy to help you.
Okay, so remember, your prediction is what you think is going to happen. We're making a prediction about what this bear will find to eat. So look at its habitat, and what do you think that bear is likely to eat? Do you think it's likely to eat maybe berries because it's in the forest? Do you think it might eat some leaves? I see lots of leaves in the picture. There might be a body of water nearby. It might eat some fish. maybe some honey. So I'm going to use my clues inside of the picture where I can see its habitat and make my prediction.
Winter sleep. Some bears live in places that have cold winters. It is hard for the bears to find food when it is cold. To stay alive, they sleep through most of the winter. During the summer and fall, the bears eat a lot of food. They store the food as fat on their bodies. The bears live off the fat during the winter. These grizzly bears are eating a lot of salmon. They are getting ready for winter.
Okay, so that sentence right there, remember, is your caption, tells you about the picture. Those bears are eating salmon. Salmon is a type of fish. They're getting ready for the winter.
Mother bears that live in cold places have their cubs in winter. Before the cubs are born, the mother builds a home called a den. The den is a warm and safe place for the bears to live. Many bears make their dens by digging holes in hills or under tree roots. Some bears use caves or holes in logs for their dens. After the cubs are born, the mother goes to sleep. The cubs nurse while their mother sleeps. Some polar bears make tunnels in the snow to use as dens.
Okay, so the mothers make their dens for the winter. We had another little picture here of some polar bears, and they made tunnels in the snow to use as their den. So even though that's snow and it's very cold, the polar bears are able to live in that habitat because they have thick fur and lots of things to keep them warm.
Cubs grow up. Each bear goes through a set of changes called a life cycle. A life cycle starts when a cub is born. The cub grows and changes. It then becomes an adult bear. These pictures show the life cycle of an American black bear. Adult bears can make babies. A black bear cub drinks its mother's milk. Soon the cub leaves the den. It still nurses, but it starts eating other foods too. The cub becomes an adult when it is 3 to 5 years old.
Okay, so remember that this is called a life cycle. We have talked about the life cycle of a frog when Miss Garrett brought in her tadpoles. We've looked at the life cycle of a pumpkin in our weekly readers. We've also looked at the life cycle of a butterfly. Here is the life cycle of a bear. So adult bears have babies. The babies drink their mother's milk to grow strong and big. Then the baby bears will leave their den. They might still drink some of their mother's milk, but they're starting to learn how to find that food on their own. And then once they can do that, after 3 to 5 years, they're an adult, and the life cycle starts all over again.
This mother bear and her cubs are looking for food in a forest. The cubs will soon start living on their own and finding food for themselves. This black bear cub has just left its den. It is starting to learn about the world. The cub will quickly find out why it should not play with skunks.
Yikes. Okay, so just a little bit about the author.
About the author. Bobby Kalman has written books about almost every kind of animal. Once she spent months in Hawaii swimming with dolphins and whales so she could write about them. Baby Bears is Bobby's first book about baby animals. She loves writing about how they learn, grow, and change. Author's purpose. Authors often use headings in expository text. What are some of the headings in Baby Bears? How do these headings help you understand the information?
Okay, so we've talked about, and we're going to continue to talk about, how headings like this one right here, this is a heading about the author. How does that help us understand what we're reading? Well, it just gives us a little insight on what we're about to read about. And it also, if we're looking for something specific, if we want to know the answer about something or the answer to a question, maybe we pick up this book about baby bears and we are just interested about their life cycle. Well, I can skip over the part where it says winter sleep. And I can skip over about the parts that tells us what they eat. I just want to know about their life cycle. So if I keep flipping in my book, I see this catchy heading in big bold letters. It says cubs grow up. And I see this diagram, also a text feature. And I think, oh, that's the page I need because I want to know about their life cycle. So that's why things like headings and other text features are very, very important when we're reading. Okay, so now I want you to grab your reading and writing companion book and you're going to turn to page 16. Okay, so on page 16, it says we're going to read. We've already read once. We're going to go back and you can listen to this again if you would like, just the reading part. We're going to answer some questions. So let's listen.
Baby bears. How does the author use photographs and captions to help you understand bear families? Talk about it. Talk about the details in the photographs and captions on pages 118 to 119. Cite text evidence. Write what you learn about bear families from the text, photographs, and caption.
Okay, so remember, evidence means proof. So we're going to flip back to page 118 and 119, and we're looking at the text, the photographs, and the captions to see what we can learn from those three things. So I'm going to flip back 118, 119. Okay, that's right here. So the first thing we're looking at is the text. So the text, our heading is bear families, and it says a bear family is made up of a mother bear and her cubs. Most mother bears have litters of cubs. A litter is 2 or more babies that are born at the same time. This mother grizzly bear has 3 cubs. Cubs stay with their mother until they are 2 to 3 years old. They watch their mother to learn how to live on their own. Mother bears teach their cubs where to find food and how to stay safe. And then I've got my caption to describe this picture. The mother bear is teaching her cubs how to climb a tree. Mothers also teach cubs how to groom their fur and stay clean. Okay, so first I'm looking at the text. Let's read the question again. Talk about the details in the photographs and captions on page 118 and 119. Write what you learn about bear families from the text, photograph, and captions. So what is one thing that we learned about bear families or baby bears, mama bears, from, and I'll try to call them cubs because they're not baby bears, they're cubs. What do we learn from the text? So think about that. Maybe just take a minute to reread it to yourself and try to think of one thing that we learned from the text. So what did we learn from these 2 pages about bear families? Okay, so if I am reading this for the first time, I maybe learned that most mother bears have litters of cubs, and a litter is 2 or more babies that are born at the same time. So I'm going to type that in. Mother bears have litters of cubs. Okay, just want to make sure that was right. A litter is 2 or more babies born at the same time. So those mother bears have 2 or more babies at a time. Okay, you can pause the video anytime you need to fill that in. We're going to go ahead and jump to the photographs. So I'm looking at the photographs, and we've already kind of picked out a detail from this page about the litters that mother bears have. Let's look at this picture. So I'm going to read the caption one more time. This mother bear is teaching her cubs how to climb a tree. Mothers also teach cubs how to groom their fur and to stay clean. So what can I learn from this picture? Well, that mother bears teach their cubs how to climb trees. So I'm going to write that there. Mother bears teach their cubs to climb trees. And you can think of some reasons that they might need to learn how to climb a tree. Maybe there's something in the tree they need to get to eat. Maybe they need to run up the tree for protection. So lots of reasons why the bears would need to climb a tree. Maybe they need to know how to hunt by climbing up the tree and watching the rest of the forest. Okay, now we're looking at the caption. So we kind of picked out one detail about the picture from the caption, but there's also another detail there that we could. The second sentence says, mothers also teach cubs how to groom their fur and to stay clean. So mother bears teach their cubs how to groom themselves to stay clean. Okay, so you can pause it and take as much time as you need to fill in there. And then we're going to fill in this question, and it says the author uses photographs and captions. So why do you think that the author used photographs and captions to help us better understand the story? So I'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Let's read our clue over here.
Make inferences. Think about what bears must learn to live on their own. What inference can you make about why bear cubs need to learn to climb trees?
Okay, so we kind of already talked about that. Why might a bear need to learn how to climb a tree? To get food, for protection, and for hunting. Okay, so I'm going to let you do this one on your own, give your own opinion of why the author uses photographs and captions. So I'm going to let you do this one on your own, and we're going to hop over to page 17. At the top it says, why does the author use headings to show how the text is organized? So reread page 120, talk about the question the heading at the top of the page asks. Write the heading on page 120. So I'm going to flip there. And they told us that we're looking for a question. So this is page 120. What do bears eat? So that goes this part of my web. What do bears eat? All right. And then it says, then write details from this section of the text. So we're looking for 3 details about what bears eat. So first we're going to reread. Most bears are omnivores. Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and animals. That sounds super important, a very important detail that I need to include. So I'm going to write that most bears are omnivores. And that means they eat both plants and animals. Okay. You can't see it. Okay, that would be one detail. I'm gonna leave that up there so you can copy it down in your book. Just pause the video, and we're gonna keep moving to write that down. Okay, now looking for a second detail. So I'm gonna keep reading. Bears eat honey, berries, leaves, and eggs. They also eat insects, fish, and other animals. Polar bears are carnivores. Carnivores eat mainly other animals. Pandas are herbivores. Herbivores eat mainly plants. So I think it's very important that we know what a carnivore is because polar bears are carnivores, and that means that they eat mainly other animals. So carnivores, some bears are, well, let's write polar bears because they told us that. That's even more detailed. Polar bears are carnivores. They eat mainly meat. Okay, and a third detail, the other type of animal that we have are herbivores, and those are animals that eat mainly plants, like panda bears. So panda bears are herbivores. Oh, didn't spell that right. They eat mainly plants. Okay, and that was panda bears. So you can pause the video whenever I'm typing right there to fill in your answer. Okay, almost done. Hang with me. And I'm going to let you fill in this one on your own too. So it says the author uses headings to show. Why do you think the author uses headings like this one? What do bears eat? And also, here's a heading on page 121. I don't know why it scrolled up like that. Let's go to the next page. See some more headings. Okay, winter sleep. We know that this whole section, until we see a new heading, is going to be about winter sleep. So why does the author have these captions like that? Cubs grow up. Winter sleep. They're not complete sentences. They're just a few bold words to tell us what that section of the story is about. Okay? So for Monday, you need to complete these 2 pages, do the last question on your own, and you will have a new video on Wednesday where we're going to go over this page 18, and then page 19. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I can't wait to see you for pods this week. I'll be back, and see you soon. Work really hard.